Thank you, K-Mac. 12:19 is your time right now for your money. With the tax deadline extended to May 17th, many will have the opportunity to wait a little longer to file their taxes. Early filers may think the tax effort is over until next year. However, now is the time to work on ways to legally reduce your taxes. CBS 4 financial expert Andy Manley joins us now to talk about some of these strategies that should be considered every year. Andy, glad to have you. We'll jump right in. Are there any strategies here specific to this year if someone hasn't filed yet?
Yeah, a lot of people were eligible for stimulus payments and maybe they didn't receive them. So you want to make sure you include that in your return. Also, maybe you added dependents this year, and so you didn't get the payments for that. So you can add that into your return. So anything that you have that maybe payments you should have received, make sure you include that when you're filing, for this year's taxes.
Okay, some good stuff there. Are there any other areas for those who still haven't filed where they can make some adjustments?
One is to think about the above line deductions. So these are things that reduce your gross income. And, besides IRA contributions, there's things for deducting for student loans, and maybe even if you're a teacher, if you make education expenses. So all of those things you want to make sure that you're putting into this tax return and don't forget about it.
Yeah. What are some strategies then for 2021 that should be considered moving forward?
Well, one of the things most important is to always look at reducing your adjusted gross income. And one of the best things to do is to make regular contributions to a 401k or an IRA. The other thing is with the higher standard deductions, a lot of times people just go with that. But if you have a year where there's something that's going to cause you to have more expenses that you can deduct, then maximize those. So those are all things that you can do. And then finally, the IRS reports that 1 out of 5 returns every year miss credits that are due to them. So make sure you're getting all the credits that are due to you in any given year.
How can you control then if you will have a refund or how much you'll owe?
Yeah, a lot of people forget that if you don't want to have to pay, then you don't want to have as big a return, you want to just kind of be at zero, then you just need to fill out the IRS W-4 form, something that all of us fill out when we start a job, but we probably never think about updating. And as your life changes, you may need to update that to either have more taxes taken out or less taken out so that you can control, how much you have to pay or how much you're getting back when you file your taxes.
What is the best advice that you have then for tax planning and filing?
I think too many people consider filing their tax return the only step in, tax planning. And really, you should think about tax planning all year long, with the tax return being the last thing. So learn about taxes, do things all year long. So when you get to the end of the year, you're just kind of checking off the last box of several in a year you should do to make sure you can pay as little taxes as possible.
All right, Andy, we appreciate your advice as always, my friend. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Okay, thanks, Nick. See you later.